Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel,
Fulfill the Game of Life. We are in
Rio Maggiore, Italy.
And we're out on the balcony, so we're trying to not talk so loud because there are a lot of people around us. But as you can see in this video, this is beautiful.
It is beyond amazing. Richard's going to take drone footage in the morning, and we're eventually going to share that with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to try to plug that in and just make that part of this video. But as you can see, maybe in the haze, that it's actually sunset. There is the harbor right below us. There's a mountain cliff right to the right here. The accommodations that we're staying here is literally right on the mountain and overlooking the water in the harbor.
It is a gorgeous view.
And we'll show you some of the views in the video here, but we thought you can't miss this opportunity for a balcony babble with a balcony and a view this beautiful, right?
You're right.
The things that people watch the most from us are the differences that we see from the United States to Portugal, and we've been continually again collecting a list to just try to give people some idea of what's really different. And in this video we're going to focus mainly on driving and the way that people drive differently, the ways that the laws are used, the ways that blinkers are used, and so on and so forth. So
well, since Richard does all the driving, he's going to be doing all of the talking on this segment.
That's not true. We're going to both do a little bit of the talking. So let's start off with roundabouts. Roundabouts, if you've never really used them, they're starting to pop up in the United States here and there, but let's just face it, they are so much more efficient than stop signs and coming to complete stops, but just rotating around roundabouts and kind of taking your turn to fit in and fit out. It keeps traffic flowing so much easier, and it's strongly preferred. I will say the harder part is kind of remaining oriented, whether you're headed north, south, east, or west, because you kind of come off that circle in any of the 360 degrees. But as long as you got GPS pointing you to that blue line, I don't know if that's much of an issue anymore. But roundabouts, number one, versus stop signs, far superior for roundabouts. Number two, interstate driving, they call it the motorway here, we call it the interstate in the United States, but the difference is pretty stark. Number one, the biggest positive impact of driving on the motorway here is that people only pass on the left, and if you're traveling faster than them and they're in the left lane, they will move to the right. You know, if you've ever driven the United States, one of the worst practices, one of the most inconsiderate things that you continuously in the United States is that people will get in the left lane and they'll stay there. And they expect you to go to the right lane, or they won't speed up or slow down any at all to help navigate traffic. They will literally clog the road up just by driving in the left lane and the right lane with no consideration of other people. Again, about a decade ago, I experienced it driving over here, and it's vastly superior. It's watching people purposely move to the right and get out of the way of other people, and it's just a much more efficient way to run two lanes. So I want to once again applaud. I don't know how the United States hasn't quite gotten there yet. I know there's been attempts, even in the state of Georgia, to bring awareness to the fact that traffic would flow much more smoothly if you could just kind of be courteous to people and move over a lane. But anyway, it is so much more pleasurable to drive as long as there's not enough traffic to cause major problems here, right? Next is
well-marked electronic surveillance. So it's not always so evident in the U.S. where they are monitoring your speed, but we have found that in Europe you definitely know when they're about to monitor your speed because there are signs up on the road, so you know.
Even blinking lights.
Exactly.
Pointing at it like,
right.
hey, right, you're under electronic surveillance. So you basically take it here as the electronic surveillance is here to slow you down, not to capture you and give you a ticket. We appreciate that, and it's effective, right? People do slow down. You pretty much have to slow down.
Right.
At least that's the way I see it.
And then I noticed in Italy, if it catches you, going over the speed limit and you purposefully make sure that you stop speeding, it definitely says grazie. So it says thank you in Italian for slowing down.
Yeah, that does. It's a minor thing, but it feels good when they say, "Hey, thank you for doing that." Right. On to number 4. As we've already told you in the previous videos, tolls. Breaking news. Breaking news. We have learned our lesson. In our last video, we stirred
a bunch of people up, I guess.
Yeah, so we shared our view on tolls in general, and as you might expect with anything that may be political or have to do with kind of quality of life, those things, you get comments of people on one side and people on the other side, and of course some people said, yeah, I hate them too, and then there's multiple people were also like, well, that goes to help pay for the things in our country. So we agree with both sides, and we think the lesson learned for us is there's no reason to put any type of politically charged opinion in a video. So we wanted to just break into the news here and let you know we'll make sure that we're just travel vlogging, I guess.
Yeah,
is that what we call it?
Probably just sharing our adventures through Portugal.
Yep. So forgive us if our opinions, I shouldn't say our, Christy was innocent. Forgive me if my opinions bothered you for the last video, and thank you for just continuing to stay tuned, and we will return back to our regularly scheduled program. Number 5, if you watched one of our earliest videos about Car Guy here in Portugal, you'll find out that we made a mistake on calculating the number of liters in a gallon, and that's because the UK gallon is different than the United States gallon. And I started thinking maybe a day or two after I realized that was, hey, maybe everything I see here when it says miles per gallon is referencing the UK gallon, not the United States gallon, and lo and behold it is. And what that means is also in that video, the car that we bought, the BMW that we bought, showed on occasion that it would get up to 40 miles per gallon. Well, that was pretty awesome, pretty amazing to say, hey, if I can handle 40 miles to the gallon. Well, here's the end of that story. The penalty in liters per gallon is almost exactly 20%. So every time that you see miles per gallon in the UK or anywhere in Europe, you have to reduce it by almost exactly 20% to get to the United States miles per gallon. So 40 miles per gallon here in Europe would equate to about 32 miles per gallon in the United States. So it's a little bit eye-opening and something you really should be aware of when you're shopping for cars here, because I know I was shopping for cars. I would even see the diesel engine cars that would get 50 miles to the gallon. Well, the fact is that's 40 miles to the US gallon. So that's a pretty big difference. 20% is enough to remember that the miles per gallon's always stated in UK.
So one thing that we did notice, or that was not obvious to us, the backup lights in the US, there are 2. Everybody knows that there are 2 that you're supposed to have. So when we came over here, Richard noticed that only 1 was on.
Yeah, actually, it was a pretty darn interesting. So I put the car in reverse in front of a piece of glass so I could see, hey, I've got 1 backup light, and being the car guy I am, I'm like, that's not acceptable. I can't live with 1 backup light. I need the second one. The bulb must be blown. And Christy's first question was, did you not get an error? Because even my 80s BMWs would give you errors when there are lights blown. I was like, no, I didn't get an error, so it's kind of odd. So anyway, I go into the stores to buy a backup light, and fortunately, I pull up on my phone trying to look for the right part number, and the very first article related to the backup light in Europe is, lo and darn behold, there's only 1 backup light on my car. And it's in the taillight section as if you would have 2 backup lights, but lo and behold, it's not there. Okay, I think we lost count, so we're not going to tell you the number. We'll put that on the list. The left blinker this is actually pretty interesting, and I'm not 100% certain that I know exactly what's going on here, but if you're in the fast lane on the motorway, one thing that you see pretty continuously is that someone will turn their left blinker on while they're driving in the left lane, and they'll leave it on. And I've seen it used in two different ways, I think. One is if a car is in front of you and you're going faster than that car and you're catching up on them, but they can't get over, they will sometimes leave their left blinker on, which to me says, I'm aware that you're behind me, and as soon as I get past the car in front on the right side, I'll get over. So to me, it's kind of a show of I'm aware. But the other side of that is if you're in the left lane and someone is coming up behind you very quickly, they will often have their left blinker on and they'll leave it on as if they're saying, please be aware, I'm coming behind you and I'm coming pretty fast, so please get over as soon as you can. So I kind of take this left blinker thing as like the lights flashing, like, hey, I'm coming. I'm not 100% sure on the uses. Please comment below and help us fully understand what the left blinker is and how it's used, because we see it a lot. It's not one-off like someone just mistakenly left their left blinker on. We see it a lot. We're not exactly sure how the left blinker scenario works, but that's what it seems to be doing for us.
So next is the no right on red. So in the last, I would say 3 months, we've only seen one person here go right on red. And typically in the US, if you have a sign in front of you that says no right on red, then you don't do that. Otherwise, if it's not there, then it's okay to go right on red. But here we've only ever seen one person do that.
Yeah, so just to clarify what that means, if you've never been to the United States, if you're sitting at a red light and you're the first car in line, you can actually turn right if the light is red, as long as there's no traffic coming. So I did look that up when we first got here, because I saw it. No one went right on red. I did pull it up on Google, and is it legal here to go right on red? I think the answer is no. And again, we've seen one car do it in 3 months across all of Europe. So if you come over and you're driving here, be aware that you can't go right on red. The next thing is the way red lights are designed. This may sound kind of minor, but it becomes pretty noticeable actually. When you approach a red light here in Europe, the red light is on the pole right above your head. So what you have a tendency to do, I'm driving, right, and I drive up to the stop, and the red light, because it's above my head, I can't see it. So there'll be a small red light on the pole, down to the right, that's in the eyesight. In the United States, that's actually different. In the United States, the red light will actually be across the street facing you.
So you can clearly see it.
Yeah, so you can always see the red light up, and you don't have these small ones down to the right here. You just have the red light up, but it's across the street on the other side. That's actually pretty noticeable, because you find yourself driving up to the line and losing sight of the red light. And then you have to look to the right, and the A-pillar on the car, kind of blocks that light sometimes. So anyway, it's just a slight difference of the way that's designed. And honestly, in this case, I prefer the United States solution, where the red light is across the street, so I don't have to turn my head or anything. It's just right in my eyesight, straight in front of me at all times. So pretty interesting little minor thing to observe. And last on this video, this is really, really interesting, and it has a good side and it has a bad side. I've seen people even post on the expat pages, what are these red lights in the city that go completely nowhere? There is no cross traffic to stop traffic. Why is there a random red light right in the middle of the city? And we saw that continuously in Portugal, coming down from Linhares down to Celarico. There were multiple villages with that red light that just goes nowhere. So what we figured out here, and the way this works, now I'm 95% sure this is right, I'm not 100% sure, but these lights, as you start coming around the corner, will have a flashing light that says control your velocity. And if you don't back your car down to the speed that's posted, not close by the way, you got to get under that speed. So if it says 50 kilometers per hour, you got to go 50 or below it. And when you do that, that red light will stay green. The red light in the middle of nowhere will stay green. If you exceed 50 kilometers per hour, it will turn that red light on and you will be forced to come to a stop. And yes, there's a video camera on it, so you'll be forced to come to a stop. And I've also found, I believe, the faster you go, the longer you have to stop. So it's, again, penalizing you for not just controlling your speed. And that actually works really well for controlling speed into the village, and I kind of like it by design, except there's one significant flaw. Once I learned that I could keep it green by slowing down, well, it's easy, I slow down. But guess what happens with the guy behind me? Some guy will come over the hill, he'll be going 20 kilometers too fast, he triggers the light, and then we both have to stop. So it's a good design, and it does accomplish what it's meant to do, which is slow traffic into the villages. And I like it, except for the people behind me have yet to figure out that they can't come around that same corner without triggering that light, and then they both trigger it for us. So that's been a little frustrating. It happened to me more than once. But anyway, hope you found all of these driving tips and differences from the United States. We hope you found these engaging and enjoyable and informative. And if you liked this video,
Please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new content.
we hope that you just stared at the background, and we're going to quit talking here. We're going to turn off the camera, and we're going to go do the same. We're going to go grab a bite to eat and overlook this beautiful cliff village, and we will talk to you in the future.
Ciao.
Ciao.